Hi, Scouter Matt from Kingston, Ontario, here in my dad's cave, my dad's workshop where he lives. I've been visiting my dad, and he told me that he had my old Scout hiking stick that I bought when I was in Scouts, and I didn't do anything with it. The entire time I was in Scouts, it was a bare 1 1/8 inch thick dowel, 5 feet long, and that's all it was when I got here. And I thought, you know what? Let's finish this. Let's make this a really proper Scout staff. If you look on the internet and you search Scout hiking staff, Scout staff, something like that, you'll find a couple of designs keep popping up that are actually based around a dowel. You can use any appropriately lengthed and appropriately thick piece of wood that you find. Don't take this off of a live tree. If you want to use a natural staff, use deadfall, or go to your hardware store. 5 to 6 feet is kind of the ideal here, and the recipe that usually comes up, I took the common elements from both of them. So we got a 5-foot staff here. I've added a cane tip to the very end, so that'll make it a little bit softer. That'll also give something to wear when I'm on, say, gravel trails. Instead of wearing the bottom of the stick, I'm just going to wear out that cane tip. The foot is just nailed in place. We thought about gluing it in place, decided that would be a bad idea because this is intended to wear. This will wear, and at some point I'll want to replace it. So by nailing it in, we can pull the nails out, take that off, put a new cane tip on, and we're good to go. Yep, I've got 20 feet of paracord acting as a handle. For me, I stand 6 feet tall, so this is right below the 4 feet mark on my staff. I've got a little loop, a little wrist loop. I can put my hand through that, and then as I'm hiking, if I let go of it, it stays put. I've got 50 feet of fishing line in here. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to put some fish hooks underneath here. You will want to wrap those in tape just to make sure that they don't poke out. Got a neat little Scouts Canada medallion here because got to represent the home team. Got 2 sets of little spy holes up at the top. They're at a 90 degree angle to each other, and that's so that you can lay out angles that are exactly 90 degrees. This works really well when you have another couple of Scouts helping you out. You could do this at a campsite, particularly at a jamboree, to make sure that everything is totally squared up. You may have noticed we had a bit of tear out while we were drilling the peepholes up here. That needed to be glued, that needed to be clamped and all that. So word to the wise, when you're making these peepholes, don't make the mistake that we made. What happened was we tried drilling right through across the grain, basically, and when the drill came out the far side, it tore through that very thin layer of wood grain, popped right out. That wasn't great. So instead, ideally what you do is go on 45 degree angles to the grain so that doesn't happen. So learn from that mistake. And finally, up at the top, we have a hook. Very useful for grabbing things. It's what I've added in terms of physical stuff. The other thing that I've done is not tied my fishing line on very securely because it just loosened on me. So that'll have to be retied. I've also added measuring stick marks to this. And this is the other reason that you want to have this cane tip. If you look closely, there are marks every inch for the first 2 feet. I've also marked out a larger line for every foot. And then the first 2 feet, I have every inch, and then it's just feet the whole rest of the way up. And then where it tapers off here, conveniently, this is purely coincidence based on the size of the cane tip, where it starts to taper off here is the 5-foot mark. So this is more than just a support when I'm hiking. This is a tool for grabbing things. This is something I can use on camp to make sure that angles are how I want them to be. It's fishing line if I need to go fishing, or in an emergency situation if I need a snare. It's 20 feet of paracord if I need paracord to tie something off with. It's also a really convenient way of measuring things. You might measure the distance between things. You might want to measure how big an animal print that you found is. If you're trying to decide, is that a wolf or a coyote? You can lay this down next to it and see, oh, it's much too big to be a coyote. There are wolves nearby, which is a neat thing to figure out. Hiking stick can be more than just a thing that you lean on when you're out on a hike. I really strongly recommend any scout who is looking for something really neat to make, check this out. You can, if you have the supplies and you have the tools convenient, you can make this in a day. They're wonderful tools. We all like hiking sticks, so go out, make yourself a customized one, make it part of your every camp kit. Take it hiking, have fun, and don't forget, if you like this, you want to support Mike, share, subscribe, all that jazz. If you have a hiking stick of your own, if you have a scout staff, share pictures with us. We'd love to see them. And above all else, always be a little Scoutadelic. Bye.